Alright, we're back with another installment of Hank's True Barbecue. Today I'm gonna cook another cut I've done before, but which is super tasty. This is beef ribs, or short ribs, because they're cut out from the short plate of the cow. The flavor is just amazing. I've done them plenty of times. They also look really good when serving. Really rich meat, so this is like a winner, definitely. The thing I'm gonna do differently today is I'm gonna cook it in my kettle with the slow ones here, but using charcoal instead, which I haven't done in a long time. That'll be interesting. Also, I'm gonna apply a coffee rub because I think this one should be a really good match for the beef ribs. Now granted, this is my own brand, so use whatever you prefer. I like this signature one, but there are 1,000 rubs out there, so go with what you're comfortable with or what your preferences tell you. Now, trimming these is relatively easy. I'm going to show you how. We're going to apply the rub, let it sit for quite a few hours before we cook it. Now they may look a bit intimidating if you haven't cooked them before, but I really urge you to try it because these are very forgiving. Just like a pork butt is extremely forgiving when it comes to pork, I would say this is roughly the equivalent. You cook it up to temp. When it's done, you let it rest, then you slice it and really enjoy some spectacular beef. So let's get started with this one. A little prep, a little rub, and then get the charcoal going in the grill. So this is what it looks like after the plastic bag. As you can see, there's very little trimming. The meat looks really nice, great marbling. I'm gonna remove this fat cap up here. It's not too thick and I want to get the rub to stick to the meat. Besides, this meat is so rich anyway, there's no real point in leaving this in here. Also, you can see there's some tough membrane I'm gonna get rid of. So a little quick trimming and we should be good to go. Now this is where it helps to have a flexible blade, because that way you can follow the surface of the fat and not cut too much off. See, now this is what I'm talking about. That's all flavor right there. And this is, you see this silvery membrane, this is going to be really tough, so you definitely don't want to leave that on the beef ribs. And as I've said, when you taste it, you're going to realize how rich it is, so no point in leaving this on the beef. But again, this is a real quick trim. Now if we flip it over, you can see there's a membrane here, just like with pork ribs. But there's so much thick bones and not much meat anyway, so I'm just gonna leave it in there. And also, when you eat these ribs, you don't cut them off and hold them in your hand. You're simply gonna cut the meat off with a knife like this. So I think we're good. If you still want to remove the membrane, just go ahead. All right, time to apply the rub. This is easy. Just to shake up the jar a bit. And we're good to go. I'm gonna leave this in the fridge for quite a few hours before we fire up the grill. Pat it down good. Make sure you get it on all sides. Now I'm not gonna apply the rub on the back side here with the bones. Just gonna apply it on top and on the 4 sides. It's good enough. See if we need more. One more to go. Make sure there are no spots. But again, I think this coffee chili rub should be a great combination for the beef. All right, let's leave it for a few hours before we start cooking. coming up to temp, so I'm gonna drop in wood chunks for good flavor. And put the meat on the grates. And the thermometer probe, and we're good to go. The thing with barbecue is that it takes forever, so many hours before dinner is ready. So what should I do until then? All right, time to take a look. It's been a little over 5 hours. I'm reading between 90 and 95 degrees in various parts of the meat, so it's done. Time to bring it in, bring home the bacon. This sure looks good, doesn't it? Just gonna make sure this gets a good rest before we slice it. All right, how about these Dino ribs? Looking real good. It's gonna be great tasting these. First, it's time to wrap them up though. Now, there are some bones sticking out, as you can see. Quite a bit of pullback, as always, with beef ribs. I'm just gonna wrap them carefully to make sure I don't poke in a hole. Get another one on there. And I'm gonna use my regular El Cheapo faux cambro, simply getting that towel wrapped in. Now there's a wooden board underneath, so it's not gonna pull any heat from the meat. So I'm gonna leave it like this for at least 1 hour, then we're gonna slice it and see what it tastes like. Can't wait. All right, rest is over. Time to unwrap these babies. Oh yeah, looking good. Looking real good. All right, let's slice them up. Check it out. Oh, it looks really good. Nice and tender, nice smoke ring, very juicy. This looks good. Nice one. Let's give it a quick taste test just to check it out. This is rich. Bold flavor, really nice beefy flavor. Excellent taste. Look at this, folks. That's the way to go. Nice, easy cook. As I said in the beginning, give this a try. It's really, well, relatively simple, I would say, at least for the various different cuts you can do barbecue out of. So, amazing flavor, just amazing. So, really tasty cook. I had a 1.5 kilo hunk of meat. It took 5.5 hours in the kettle running at 130 degrees Celsius, which is not too bad, and basically no intervening at all. I put it on the smoker or grill and cooked it, and now it's ready to serve. Easy peasy. So, what do you match with a rich flavor like beef ribs? I really prefer like green beans, always good to get some greens in, but also blue cheese. This is some real tasty stuff, folks. That's a great match with rich flavor like that. So really good. So if you haven't tried it, go ahead. I mean, you're gonna love it, your guests are gonna love it. But for me, time to dig in. I'm out, folks. See you next time.